evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the June 10th City of Lockport Plan and Zoning Commission meeting. And I'd like to call this meeting to order. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, if everyone would stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Kathy, would you take roll call, please? Here.
Calderon.
Here.
Here. Likens.
Here.
Isaac.
Here.
Garland.
Here.
Giorgetti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Let's start. Do we have a motion for approval of the meeting minutes from the May 13th, 2025 Plan and Zoning Commission meeting?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the May 13th, 2025 Plan and Zone Commission meeting minutes.
Motion made by Peters.
Second.
Second by Garland. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We will move to public hearings, and we have case number 2025-004, apologies, special use permit for planned residential development for a 260-unit residential development. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Garland.
Second.
Second by Calderon. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Kimberly, would you like to present this case?
Yes. Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, members of the Commission. This case, the first case, case number 2025-004, this case was actually assigned to the May 13th Plan and Zoning Commission agenda and was continued from that agenda over to tonight's agenda. MI Homes has submitted development plans for a 260-unit single-family residential neighborhood for the property generally located north of Bruce Road and south of Cedar Ridge Estates. The property is highlighted in red. The subject property is a vacant parcel comprised of approximately 78 acres. The property was part of the overall McNaughton Steeplechase mixed-use development, which was approved back in 2007. The subject property is site number 2 out of 8. The McNaughton Steeplechase was a complex project which had industrial and residential components over several hundred acres across the east and southeast portions of Lockport. In 2009, McNaughton Development Company submitted preliminary plans for site number 2 for a planned age-restricted residential development. The preliminary plan included single-family, townhome, and duplex lots. The proposed community would have been connected to Sprucewood Drive in Cedar Ridge subdivision. At the time the preliminary plat and plan were approved, the property was annexed and zoned R1, R2, and R3 with a special use permit for a planned residential development, which is still shown on the city's zoning map today. The final plat and development plan did not take place, and the development was never constructed. Subsequently, the property had remained vacant. In 2024, MI presented a concept site plan for Sadie Ridge that was approved by the City Council. The applicant has advanced to final development plan review for Sadie Ridge. The development plans are substantially in conformance with the approved concept plan. The focus of this review includes rezoning R1 and R3 to accommodate the single-family, detached, and attached housing locations. Preliminary and final plat of subdivision. The preliminary is waived with the final plat. And then preliminary and final development plan review and a special use permit for a planned residential development. The zoning map is displayed. The subject property is currently zoned R1, R2, and R3, and impressed with the special use for an age-restricted community. The proposed rezoning plat will remove R2 from the map. The condition for the age restriction will be removed with the new special use permit. The R1 single-family district will be adjusted to align with the single-family detached homes, and the R3 zoning district will be adjusted to align with the townhomes on the site plan. The reason why the townhomes would be R3 rather than R2 is because the applicant is using 6-unit buildings rather than 4-unit buildings. The overall unit count would not change if they used 4-unit buildings, but the R3 zoning district is what allows for the 6-unit building. Final plat of subdivision is displayed. The proposed plat calls for 132 single-family detached lots and 128 townhome lots, which are clustered into 23 buildings. The plat shows that the roads will be dedicated and a 3.2-acre park will also be dedicated. Common outlots will be owned and maintained by a homeowners association. Certain modifications are needed and displayed. Findings of fact. A planned development is a special use in all zoning districts. The proposed use is subject to the special use procedures and compliance with the standards for special uses, which are displayed. Staff finds the following is established. 1, the proposed development is a unified development that provides common detention, public access, landscape parkways, a public park, a variety of housing types for the community. Staff finds that the proposed development is in the public's interest. 2, the proposed development will not have an adverse effect upon adjacent property. The character of the neighborhood will be similar to Silo Bend and Cedar Ridge Estates, both being desirable developments. The development should not have substantial adverse effect upon any existing neighboring property. The character of the neighborhood, traffic conditions, or any matters that would affect public health, safety, or general welfare. And 3, the proposed single-family development is compatible with existing development in general area and should not hinder future development of neighboring properties. Additionally, the property is already zoned, has the zoning entitlement for both the attached and detached housing types. And lastly, number 4, the planned development is in conformance with the objective standards and procedures that are identified under section 156.140 of the zoning code. Final site plan. The final site plan is substantially in conformance with the approved concept site plan. The plan illustrates that the development is located immediately south of Cedar Ridge Estates and west of Colonial Acres, which is located in the village of Homer Glen. Sprucewood Drive, the main access road through Cedar Ridge, will connect to Sadie Ridge. Sadie Ridge is designed to transition from larger lots along the perimeter of the development to higher density away from the existing homes. The 9,000 square foot single-family lots will be located along the north and east portions of the development, and the smaller 7,200 square foot single-family lots will be located centrally and transition to the 6-unit townhome buildings, which will be located southwest along Bruce Road. The breakdown is as follows: 83 7,200 square foot lots, 49 9,000 square foot lots, and 128 townhome units. An 80-foot natural gas pipeline easement runs along the east side of the property and will provide a buffer between Colonial Acres and Sadie Ridge residents. You can see that a little more clear on the first slide. Main access and cross access are provided at 3 points: 1 south to Bruce Road, 2 north into Cedar Ridge at Sprucewood Drive, and 3 a right-of-way connecting to Ron Court, which is reserved if the school district constructs a facility on the east end of Ron Court that would allow for road connection to bring students safely back and forth from the district facility. However, no road connection is planned at this time, but the bike path in the short term will provide residents east access to the public park. Next, elevations, landscaping. The landscape plan is displayed and is in conformance with the city's landscape ordinance. The Townhome elevations are displayed. Based on the written narrative, there are approximately 35 different types and styles of homes proposed. The styles include architectural design, selections such as traditional, colonial, artisan, and urban farmhouse design options. Next slide displays the single-family. There are additional models and styles in your packets. This is an example of just a few. Engineering staff performed a review of the proposed engineering plans. Staff's comments have been substantially addressed. Fire protection and Park District School District. The final development plans were submitted to the Homer Township Fire Protection District for review. The Fire District has no comments or concerns at this time. The Lockport Township Park District provided a letter accepting the park location and size. The proposed development was also shared with both District 33C and District 205. The school districts have not provided comments or concerns. Suggested motion is displayed. Should the commission find the 260-unit single-family residential development acceptable, the following motion is suggested. A motion to adopt staff's findings of facts and recommend the City Council approves the special use permit for a planned residential development for a 260-unit residential development to include rezoning, final plat of subdivision, preliminary and final development plan review for the property generally located north of Bruce Road, east of I-355, and south of Cedar Ridge Estates. This case would go to Committee of the Whole August 6th. Due to the 4th of July holiday, so the meeting will not be held in July. The applicant's slideshow will follow staff report, and the applicant is here for the presentation.
Good evening. My name is Caitlin Chuck with the law firm Rosenov & Whitaker, and I'm here on behalf of MI Homes. With me this evening, I have Greg Collins and Anna Sutton from MI Homes, Brian Ratajczak, our civil engineer, Doug Shannon, our landscape architect, and Loe Abuna, our traffic engineer. We're all happy to answer any questions that you have. Many of you are familiar with MI Homes, but here's a little bit of background for any new commissioners here or residents here tonight. MI is one of the nation's leading home builders and have built over 150,000 homes over the last 40 years. The Chicago division was opened in 2007. Since then, we have communities all across the Chicagoland area, and we're actively selling in Naperville, Aurora, Plainfield, South Elgin, and of course, we just wrapped up sales here in Lockport. MI has maintained a consistent presence in Lockport since delivering the Sagebrook community in 2017. Most recently, we constructed the homes over at Silo Bend, which is located just north of 167th Street. Silo Bend is officially sold out. Wanting to continue that constant presence and investment here in Lockport, MI Homes is seeking to develop approximately 78 acres of property located north of Bruce Road and east of I-355. The property is bound by existing single-family homes to the north and east, and there's a prime business campus located immediately west. The property was originally annexed as part of the McNaughton Steeplechase mixed-use development in 2007. 2009, a mixed residential site plan and associated zoning was approved. The zoning was built around that 2009 plan approvals with a combination of single-family and multifamily zoning districts, R1, R2, and R3. The approved plan contemplated an age-restricted housing community consisting of single-family, duplex, and townhomes. Despite the approved zoning, development did not proceed over the last 15 years. So turning to Sadie Ridge, you'll see the initial intent was to draw similarities to the originally approved site plan from 2009 with a mix of 3 different distinct types of housing. So we were first before this Plan Commission on October 8, 2024. On the far left of this slide, you'll see the plan that was presented to the Plan Commission at that time. That plan consisted of a total of 318 homes comprised of 3 different home products. We had 108 43-foot wide lots. This was MI's new smaller lot single-family line that was located central to the community. We had 37 75-foot wide lots, which is MI's traditional single-family homes, and that's located along the north and east property lines. And then we also had 173 two-story rear-loaded townhomes along the western portion of the property. That plan included a 2.5-acre park site. MI then revised the site plan following the conversation that was had at PZC. That revised plan was presented to Committee of the Whole on November 6th of last year, so that plan is shown here in the middle. The townhomes in the northwest corner of the site were removed and replaced with a mix of traditional single-family and the smaller lot single-family homes. These revisions resulted in a reduction of 33 units for a total of 285 homes. The same 3 series of products were still presented at that meeting. Following the constructive discussion that was had at Committee of the Whole, MI went back to the drawing board. We went back and we wanted to address the concerns raised by Plan Commission, the residents, and Committee of the Whole. And then when the final plan is on the far right side of the slide and represents a total reduction of 58 units for a total of 260 homes. The smaller lot single-family series was completely removed based upon the feedback that we received. This plan consists of 132 traditional single-family lots and 128 of MI's front-loaded townhome series, and this was to better accommodate that new site plan. So in addition, the park site also increased to 3.2 acres, and this plan received concept approval last December, as Kimberly mentioned. To recap the site plan changes again, here's a quick breakdown of just the unit count from where we started and the last time you probably saw this plan to where we are today. So from PZC to Committee of the Whole, the small lot and large lot single-family unit counts increased in order to account for a significant decrease in townhomes, especially where we were adjacent to Cedar Ridge. Between Committee of the Whole and Council, the small lot single-family option was completely eliminated from the plan. We're now proposing 132 traditional single-family and 128 larger unit townhomes for a total of the 260 units. All of this to say, MI heard the residents, we heard the Plan Commission, we heard the Committee of the Whole, and we took the concept process very seriously. So MI has worked very hard to address those concerns that were raised last year at those prior meetings. Upon receiving the concept approval, we're now before you tonight for a final plat and plan and site plan review. The site plan that's before you matches the concept plan that was approved last December. As you can see here, again, all the small lot single-family lots previously on the plan were removed. We now have a density of 3.33 units per acre. This is in line with the city's recommended density for the property and the approved density from the 2009 plan. The vast majority of the site will be comprised of MI's traditional single-family homes. The southwest corner of the site proximate to the I-355 interchange will be reserved for MI's Charleston townhomes, and that we feel will provide an appropriate transition from I-355 over to the single-family homes in this area. As Kimberly mentioned, primary access will be provided from Bruce Road. We'll have a secondary access point connecting to the existing stub at Sprucewood Drive to the north and to Cedar Ridge. In addition, we're dedicating that right-of-way to Ron Court on the eastern portion of the property. This will be improved as a bike path, but should the school district construct a school east of the site, that will become a road to safely transport the students. The site consists of nearly 32% of the property is going to be comprised of open space, so that includes 3 detention basins that are all sized in accordance with Will County stormwater regulations. We'll have a 3-acre park site central to the community. We've been working with the Lockport Township Park District, who's in agreement with the size of the park site, and we'll continue to work with them on improvements and the ultimate design. We'll have an 8-foot multi-use trail extending throughout the community. Really unique, we'll have this path will extend north and south along the 80-foot pipeline along the eastern portion of the community. It will also extend throughout the community and through the park. There's a trail connection in the northeast corner to Cedar Ridge, and that will provide a path connection to the greater regional trail. As Kimberly mentioned, there are 2 gas pipelines running north and south along the east property line, so in order to accommodate the gas companies up front last year, we were planning a generous 85-foot wide setback to the east property line and the adjacent single-family homes. So this also provides a really nice setback to the adjacent residents. We'll have a no-mow fescue in this area to create a nice natural buffer between the 2 communities. Here's the site plan just within the context of the surrounding area, so you can see how the single-family series is aligned with the single-family immediately north and immediately east. With regards to traffic, Bruce Road carries an average of 3,850 vehicles per day. During the morning and evening peak hours, the development is only expected to generate about 157 and 202 trips respectively, or between 4 to 5% of the daily trips on Bruce Road. So with that, Bruce Road can certainly handle the level of traffic that's expected to be generated by the community during the peak hours of travel. Quickly want to touch on stormwater. So this plan is actually turned to the side a little bit. So up top is going to be west, down below is going to be east. On your left-hand side will be south, and then on the right-hand side is north. Since concept approval, we've been working diligently with the city's engineering team to address stormwater issues. So as it stands today, there is no stormwater management. Water continues to pool in certain locations on the site. Specifically, you'll see the drainage area. There's 3 different drainage areas in 3 different colors here, and I have arrows showing exactly where the water is headed. So there's a very significant area in blue that's currently heading in the southeast corner of the property. Our project is designed in accordance with the Will County stormwater requirements, so with that, you can expect some drastic improvements to the current conditions. Upon development, we're significantly shrinking up the amount of stormwater, so that blue area is significantly shrinking up by 88%. You'll see here that blue area is being significantly picked up by the green area and being redirected towards the west. So it's being rerouted and away from that corner. Quickly touching on elevations, this is MI's traditional single-family home. These homes will range from 1,700 to 3,000 square feet. There's about 7 different floor plans that will meet the diverse needs of all different buyers. In addition, we'll have several different elevations in order to make sure that there's anti-monotony throughout the community. This is MI's Charleston Townhome Series. These townhomes are traditional front-loaded units ranging from 1,500 to 2,100 square feet. In comparison to the Lincoln Square townhomes that were previously proposed as part of this plan last year, those are generally smaller, their largest unit being about 1,500 square feet, where these start at about 1,500 square feet. We feel the Charleston series is more aligned with the city's goals and objectives for the site based upon the larger unit feedback that we received during the concept process. Important to note, at least 1 unit in each of the townhome buildings will feature a first-floor master bedroom. This will help cater to the move-down buyer and hope to keep people in Lockport if they are trying to downsize. These are some interior photos of the homes. Generally, the homes have an open space concept, offer several upgrades for additional features and spaces. All homes will have modern appliances, designs, and features. So with that, I'd like to thank this commission for your time and consideration this evening. MI is very proud to partner with the city of Lockport, and we look forward for the opportunity to provide another great addition to the city. So our team is all available for any questions that you have.
Thank you, Caitlin. Commissioners, I would like to open it up to you first, if you have any questions for the developer.
Out of curiosity, I was looking for it in here, and, I mean, you guys provided a dearth of information, so thank you for that. Everything was very well put together. What are the current traffic counts on Bruce? I was trying to find that. I kind of missed that a little bit. What's that? Traffic counts on Bruce.
So I have here, hold on, I had a number here. We have our traffic engineer here as well. I think it was about 3,500 per day annual or daily trips. Bruce Road, 3,850 per day along Bruce Road.
Okay, yeah. That's all I had for now.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Mine was also about the traffic. I know in our packets, we received I don't know if we have this visual for the audience, but it showed the reconstruction up to IDOT standards. I don't know if we wanted to talk about that or if we have any visuals we could share with the audience, but it does show a dedicated left turn in. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about on that, or are there any visuals that would support that?
You guys want to talk about the changes to Bruce?
Yeah, so at their new entrance to Bruce Road, there's going to be a dedicated left turn lane. Right now, it's 2 lanes, so it'll essentially become 3 lanes at that intersection. There'll be a dedicated left turn lane with tapers designed per IDOT standards based on the current speed limit out there. And then the tapers will also extend to the east, and it's just a three-legged intersection, so there would be no left turn to the south until potentially some, future development. But that's the extent of it. As part of that, they're also making some enhancements to the roadside grading to make the transitions work and to make the drainage work.
Any other questions from commissioners? Caitlin, one question. Will any stormwater that rains onto 78 acres shed off of that 78 acres onto anyone else's property, let's just say to the east?
So as it stands, as I mentioned before, we have about 20.68 acre feet of stormwater that's currently heading in that direction. By virtue of our design, we're significantly shrinking up. We'll have about 2.45 acre feet heading in that direction. But actually, I have a picture, hold on, of the plat for that property that was approved immediately, or not approved immediately adjacent, but when it was platted, hold on, there's actually a basin. So that lot 28 immediately adjacent to Bruce Road has a basin over there, so water wants to go in that direction. So we are taking as much as possible away from our property and routing it west. So we are doing as much as possible to mitigate any impact to the adjacent properties. We're significantly improving the conditions.
Dan, Bob, you both agree with that?
I do, and just wanted to note, the only areas that they could not route through their storm facilities are either too low with the grades not being able to be changed due to the gas and pipeline easement in the southeast corner of the site, and the existing Bruce Road ditch that's being regraded is already at a lower elevation than the outfall that the ponds are using. So really, they captured to the maximum extent the amount they could and routed it to a separate outfall.
Oops, sorry, thank you. I spoke with Kimberly briefly before our meeting started, and there were some modifications you were going to make in the agreement as it relates to R3 and R2, and in the documents that we originally received last week?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Well, I would like to open it up to any members of the public, and there was Nicholas Jagodzinski.
Jagodzinski.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you. I've tried to stay, plugged into to everything going on local and never saw.
Could you give your name and address so that
Yeah, if you could state your name and address for the
Apologies.
record. Thank you.
Nicholas Jagodzinski, address is 17365 South McCarran Road. So I'm in Colonial Acres, directly east of this planned development. I guess unfortunately for me, this is the first time that I've heard about this, or the first time that I'm able to really dig into the details here and comment. My two main considerations or concerns about this when originally looking into it were the possible connection to Ron Court and how that would impact traffic coming up and down, up and down McCarran. With it being designated right now just as a right-of-way for the school, in case there's school that happens actually in my backyard. I guess that really doesn't have any near-term impact then, and I don't know what the plan for 33C to build anything there, so I don't think it's anything we have to necessarily worry about right now. My other concern was, sitting on my front porch, looking that way as I do. I understand that there's an 80 or 85-foot buffer between that community and my neighbors. I was just curious, I hadn't seen called out whether there was any other type of green buffer besides, it's just heard now fescue or whatever, but I don't know if there was any other landscaping, trees that were going to be planned for that area to provide additional buffer. But I'd say that in regard to this, those were my main concerns or considerations. I was also just curious generally if there any other impacts on the other future plans for that area, like the 355 on and off ramp, or any of the other industrial or commercial that's kind of tucked in closer to the highway. So those were my main concerns.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Yeah, and Nicholas, I did read, there is something that we have in our documentation that says, in addition to the 80-foot setback, the majority of the Colonial Acres homes are set back about an average of 140 feet from their rear property lines, and then add in the 20-foot setback for the homes, and it's about 240 feet on average between the residences. So, fairly significant.
I would say there's two items. The pipeline company wouldn't allow for trees to be planted within the pipeline easement, so unfortunately, there isn't anything that can be added to that. In fact, they're cutting down trees in other areas of the community to be able to see their pipeline locations. So I wanted to address that piece of it.
Thank you, Lance. Are there any other citizens that would like to speak this evening?
There's one here. There's one.
Sorry. Late addition.
John Hilton, 17328 McCarran Road, Homer Glen.
First off, thank you for the opportunity to attend this meeting. I was at the last meeting when this was a proposed plan. I want to commend everybody on your board in terms of the thoroughness that it seems like everything has been put together. I hope that you received cooperation from Homer Glen and also from Homer Township in this process. I've been attending some of their meetings, and I think with the change in leadership that just occurred in the township, we might see hopefully a little bit more cooperation with all of the people that live in my area, which is Colonial Acres. I had a couple of questions, and I think Mike asked one of them, but if I could get a little bit more clarity about Ron Court and how it's contemplated that it's going to be hooked up to this new subdivision. Is this going to be a major thoroughfare? Because right now, it consists of, I guess, about 200 yards of concrete or asphalt, and that's about it. It's a dead end. It's used primarily for storage. People put their cars there. That's really about all that it's being used for now. So if this contemplated change is going to be making Ron Court a major thoroughfare, I'd like to know that to begin with. The second thing is regarding the new subdivision that is being built by Pulte Homes on Cedar Road, south of actually Bruce Road. There's going to be about 500 houses being built there. The concern that I have is not only with that subdivision coming up, but this one also. The traffic pattern is going to be really, really different than what it has been in the past. If you go a little bit further east, the conjunction or the junction of Cedar Road and Bruce Road, that's really it's a nightmare, to be honest with you. There's accidents happening there at least once or twice every 3 or 4 months. Some major ones. There have been some loss of lives that are there. With adding additional cars and traffic from this subdivision, I think it's a recipe for disaster. And I think there needs to be some cooperation between all of the municipalities in terms of taking care of that particular intersection. Right now, there's a lot of blind spots in it. There's farmland that in the summertime when the corn is being grown there, you cannot look safely and merge into Cedar Road off of Bruce Road. So I would hope that part of this plan is going to address those concerns too. Otherwise, I think we're going to have a number of accidents. The school district 33C has their major two grammar schools are in that area. Schilling is one of them. Butler is another. The property that is immediately to the east of me is property that has been owned by the school district for the last 20 years. I was on the board when that property was purchased, so I'm very familiar with that. I doubt very much that that property is going to be built out. In fact, wouldn't be surprised if the school district decided to sell it, because it's been used for agricultural purposes for the last 20 years. So if those two issues can be addressed, I'd really appreciate it. And again, I want to commend everybody on your board. I think you've done a great job with this, and I hope you will continue or will receive the cooperation between the Village of Homer Glen and the township. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Caitlin, would you be able to briefly address John's comment on Ron Court? As far as I can tell, everything I've seen, that would not be a major thoroughfare and would be completely up to 33C to develop that and coordinate with homeowners association for this proposed project, as well as those, John and his neighborhood directly to the east?
That's correct. That's something that we worked with staff on, and it's truly just contemplated as an option in case a school was constructed. So that would be the condition, the only condition that would allow that to be constructed.
So for the foreseeable future, it's really just a bike path
Yes,
through there?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we provided access for those folks to be able, in the colonial acres, to be able to get to the park, and to be able to enjoy that. Obviously, there isn't a public park anywhere remotely close to this area, and so having access to a 3-acre park that's got all the modern-day play equipment and, you know, all the things that can occur on that park was important to us. But I would agree that the only reason why that road would be constructed, or that connection would be constructed, is if 33C would construct a school. And if Mr. Hilton's projection is correct that they won't construct a school on that property, it likely would remain a bike path for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
I did want to mention something on the traffic stuff. We did ascertain the traffic study for Tierling Lakes, the Pulte development, from the Village of New Lenox, so that we could have that as a resource for us as we also went through those numbers, because we recognize the same thing as was mentioned, that it would be good to have the full context, and those things were integrated into that. I believe, and Bob or Dan can add to this, but we did, or the applicant did do a full accident analysis as well, at both the Gauger and Bruce Road intersection, as well as over at Cedar and Bruce. And then there was one question earlier from the first gentleman about the future interchange at that location. There are no plans currently on the book by the city of Lockport or the tollway to install that interchange. It would likely have to take a act of God to bring enough money for the city to be able to install it, or the Bruce Keaton Farm Road Bridge to go in order for that to become a reality. That doesn't mean that it could never happen. 50 years from now, I wouldn't be surprised if there might be one. But for the time being, there are no plans whatsoever to install that interchange.
Okay. Thank you, Lance. And as far as, you know, the Bruce Road and Cedar Road intersection there, I understand, you know, the fears of traversing that. That's Homer Glen on the north side of that, and unincorporated Will County to the south, I believe. Or is New Lenox going to incorporate that piece to the south?
That intersection is a county intersection.
Will County.
And we did, both the applicant as well as our staff coordinated with the Will County DOT to analyze that intersection. We engaged them in what their capital plans were for the intersection. They are aware of Tierling Lakes as well as this project. All of the traffic study that the applicant had to go through Will County Highway Department for their analysis and review, and that's where the ultimate cross-section for the entrance in off of Bruce came from. Just like what happened at Division Street for Silo Bend, Will County DOT basically identifies what that intersection design is going to be, and so they do the same here on Bruce. And so in our engagement, both with the traffic study as well as working with Will County DOT and our analysis of it, there were no improvements at either one of those intersections that were required at this time because of all the different contextual things. If you have any more detailed questions, Dan or Bob can certainly answer that, and I'm sure that the applicant's traffic consultant would be able to answer some as well.
Okay, thank you.
And from what I understand, should there ever be a reconstruction at Cedar and Bruce, that because we are following DOT guidelines on the Bruce Road expansion, that would be able to be up to code and all that, even if they put a signal in there and anticipated increased traffic flow?
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's a fair distance between the improvements that will occur in front of this property and the Cedar Road intersection, so it would be a fair amount of improvement that would have to occur from this property to get over there. But yes, it is a good start at what the county might otherwise require if those intersections were going to get improved.
Yeah, and to compare traffic counts, I believe the counts on 9th Street here are like 4 or 5 times higher, and it would be the same with roadway here as it would be even throughout town in Lockport, so.
Almost 8 times higher.
8 times, okay. Yeah.
So Will County is ultimately the catalyst to make change at that intersection.
Correct.
So we've got to be
Yeah.
advocates for that.
Yeah, and as a part of every project that borders a county DOT property, we require our applicants to engage with the DOT, and the DOT provides review comments and feedback on the plans as they're presented related to anything on their roads or their right-of-way. And so that was the case with this. And so they have gone through the process with Will County DOT to go back and forth and refine and adjust the design as it goes through.
Thank you, Lance. Are there any other citizens that would like to be heard? Please come up, state your name and your address, please.
Hello, my name is George Hegemaster, 17150 McCarran Road. The main focus I see is traffic, much like many of the other people here. But I think the one thing that hasn't been concerned is you don't have a flat surface there. You have the bridge over I-355 as well, with a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, and you're creating a situation much like the entrance to Sagebrook, where you're coming up over the top of a hill, and all of a sudden you have an entrance to a subdivision. And I know the city of Lockport has had to basically station a police officer there around the clock to prevent accidents, and you're creating the exact same situation here. And I think it's very dangerous, and really too bad that we're even considering this. We're adding an extra 1,000 cars a day. You said the current traffic count is 3,500. You're basically increasing that by 25%. That's pretty rough that you're creating that danger of a situation. I don't know why they're going away from an age-restricted community. It seems like that would be a perfect situation where you have elderly people there that don't have as much traffic coming in and out of a subdivision like that, and I think that was the intent of the original plot, and I don't know why you're contemplating changing that from the age-restricted situation. Thank you.
Just to clarify, the officer that was stationed at the entrance to Sagebrook was stationed there because the distribution building to the north, that was a Amazon operator, were routing their trucks through Sagebrook's subdivision, and they were taking out lights, and they were had a couple of close calls with people as they're taking a 65-foot tractor trailer through a residential subdivision. So that's why the officer was there, and that was paid for by that distribution owner.
Correct. Thank you, Lance.
I've been at that intersection many times, and it is dangerous to come over the top of that bridge and come right down to an entrance to a subdivision. Thank you.
Just wanted to clarify why he was there.
Thank you, Lance. Thank you, George. Any other citizens that would like to be heard? Please state your name and your address.
Pamela Baker Carnstead, 17112 South McCarran Road. Maybe I missed it because you all speak very quickly and I understand why, but are there going to be stop signs like coming off of Ron Court? Ron Court, I don't see how two cars could pass each other. And there will be people who want to go use McCarran going this way into that subdivision and vice versa. So have provisions been made for that? Are there stop signs? We have a lot of young kids that really don't pay attention because they're not used to having that much traffic on McCarran Road. That was my first question. And the other question was about the access to Bruce Road from this subdivision. Is there going to be a stoplight there? Stop sign there? Well,
There will be a stop sign as you're exiting the development.
Yeah.
But not on Bruce Road, no. And there will be no vehicular communication from Ron Court to this subdivision. It'll be a bike path only. So, I mean, could someone
bike
theoretically
path.
drive like a car through there? I guess, but they could also drive it through someone's yard or anywhere
Oh,
else.
that wasn't made clear, I guess.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, because I'm the last house on the left, how scary is that? So I was told, you know, my end of Ritter is not going through to anywhere, but isn't it true that the bike path will be that 100 and 200 yards off or 200 feet off from my lot line? And that will be a walking bike path? Am I correct in that?
Yes, there will be a bike path that runs through the pipeline easement.
Okay.
So that will go straight north within.
And that's 200 feet away from my back lot line?
No, it would probably be 200 feet-ish from your house, from the back of your house, if you know where the pipeline is,
No.
roughly. So if you know where your back property line is.
Yeah.
85 feet further is where the pipeline easement is located.
So it'll be 85 feet away from my
From your back property line.
property line?
Yeah. And there will be a bike path that goes from Bruce north into the Cedar Ridge connection that's
Okay.
there, but Ritter does not go through.
It's where the Cedar Ridge bike path bends, essentially, where,
Yeah.
that, right at that curve, it'll.
Yeah, oh, I know,
come to
I
a point.
walk that path all the time, so I'm well aware. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. Any other comments? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Garland,
I'll second it.
second by Giorgetti. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes, the public hearing is closed. Commissioners, is there a motion to adopt staff's findings of fact and recommend to the City Council approve the special use permit for a planned residential development for 260-unit residential development to include rezoning, final plat of subdivision, and preliminary final development plan review for the property generally located north of Bruce Road, east of I-355, and south of Cedar Ridge Estates, commonly known as Sadie Ridge by MI Homes.
I'll make a motion to accept the staff findings as you noted.
Second.
Motion by Giorgetti, second by Peters. Kathy, could we have a roll call vote, please?
You got it. Oops.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, go
Any
ahead.
comments or discussion?
Yes. Any comments or discussion before we call the question? Thank you, Mike.
No, just want to kind of, echo a couple of the residents who had appreciated the M&I working with the city. I mean, going from 318 to 260 units, moving things in the subdivision as according to residents that wanted it, making sure that we followed up with traffic studies and, drainage studies and all that. So thank you to the folks on that side, and also thank you for listening to the residents, and thank you to the residents for coming out and voicing your concerns. I know some of the folks are here from the last time, some of the folks that were here last time aren't here today, but in general, I think this is how the process should work, and I think it's, everyone's voice was heard, and thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Peters. Any other comments, discussion? I will call the question and ask Kathy for a roll call vote.
You got it. Quinn.
Aye.
Calderon.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Likens.
Yes.
Miesak.
Yes.
Garland.
Yes.
Giorgetti.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Kathy.
And that's August 6th for city council.
Okay, we will move to new business. First item on the agenda is case 2025-006, the concept plan for proposed 120-unit assisted living senior apartment community for the property located north of 163rd Street and east of I-355, commonly known as Heritage Woods. Kimberly, would you like to present the project?
Yes. 1 second, Chairman.
Take your time.
Catching up with the presentation.
I can get a copy of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. The next case before you is case number 2025-006. Rod Burkett of Garden, on behalf of Will County NC LLC, has submitted concept plans for a 120-unit assisted living senior apartment building known as Heritage Woods, a multifamily residential community located on the south 7 acres of an overall 18.6 acre property that is generally located north of 163rd Street and east of Gauger Road. The city's comprehensive plan calls for this land to be developed as single-family residential, having 1.6 to 2.5 units per acre. The proposed development would have a density of 16.21 units per acre on 7.4 acres. Directly to the south is the Towns of Silo Bend development, which has a density of 6 units per acre, and previously approved land west of the subject property for 6 units per acre and 2.6 to 3.5 units per acre south. The current property, the property is located in unincorporated Will County. And the property would require future annexation and rezoning. The city's zoning map is displayed. Nearby properties include R4 and R2 West and R2 South. The subject property is zone A1 agricultural in Will County and consists of 18.64 acres. The property is vacant with frontage on 163rd Street. The applicant is developing only the lower 7.4 acres of this parcel at this time. The submittal calls for an 11-acre remaining parcel property. The property could not be subdivided as presented, leaving an illegal parcel without frontage or having its only access provided through an unincorporated neighborhood. However, future subdivision, if consolidated with an adjoining property having frontage, could be possible. The applicant had originally proposed a larger development that would take place on 2 parcels. If you look at the zoning map, the parcel to the east that's highlighted in red, there's a central parcel that is not highlighted. That was the location of the future memory care. The project was withdrawn due to the cost to connect to the city's nearest sewer, which is further south. The applicant would later come forward with the proposed concept site plan for only the assisted living building, which would allow the use of sewer lines that service MI Homes development, Silo Bend, to the south. The line has limited capacity and can accommodate only the supportive living building and not a future memory care facility. Heritage Woods is a proposed 3-story supportive living apartment building that would be licensed to accept both Medicaid waiver and private pay. The units are for seniors that are 65 and older. The proposed apartments provide personal assistance and support services in addition to social and recreational activities. There are a total of 120 apartments proposed, 46 are studio, and 74 are one-bedroom units. All units are fully functional, having kitchenettes, private baths, and independent HVAC systems. A concept site plan is displayed. The development will have density of 16.21 units per acre, or 10.5 if the property remains the full 18 acres, which is more than the 1.6 to 2.5 that's shown on the comprehensive plan. The site plan illustrates a 99,500 square foot building. An access driveway enters from the southeast corner at 163rd Street and leads to a parking lot with a circle drop-off at the building's entrance. Accessible parking is provided in the circle drop-off area. Additional parking for guests, staff, and residents is provided on the west side of the building. 24 employees are anticipated to provide daytime support during peak hours. There are a total of 68 spaces provided, leaving 57 spaces for residents and guests. A fire lane, trash enclosure, and recreational path with a gazebo are proposed at the rear of the building. A single loading bay is also located in the rear. Next displayed is a rendering. The rendering shows that masonry is included in the building's materials. Engineering review letter dated May 30th, 2025 is attached to your staff report. Comments that are applicable to the concept plan will need to be addressed prior to committee of the whole. However, comments applicable to future review processes will be addressed at the time of development plan review. The concept plan was submitted to the Homer Township Fire Prevention District for review. The fire district provided the following comments. 1, they shall provide a way for fire apparatus to reach all parts of the building within 150 feet. They had a similar project that they submitted a couple years ago that showed an emergency drive around to the building. 2, the fire hydrants may need to be closer to the access roads depending on landscape. 3, there will need to be a fire hydrant within 100 feet of the fire department connection. 4, the fire hydrants will need to be 300 feet apart. The page in the plan shows 300 feet coverage, but not the distance between the actual hydrants. And 5, you shall review all building, sprinkler, and fire alarm plans when submitted. That would be at the time of building permit. Should the commission find the concept plan for the proposed 120-unit supportive living senior development, apartment development acceptable, the following motion is suggested. A motion to approve the concept plan for supportive living senior development, subject to the 5 conditions that are listed in your staff memo. This concludes staff's analysis. This item would also go to committee of the whole on August 6th, and the applicant is here tonight for questions. You have questions tonight.
Thank you, Kimberly. Would the applicant like to provide comment, presentation?
Thank you.
State your name and...
Yes. Rod Burkett, Chairman of Gardent Management Solutions. We're headquartered at 200 East Court Street, Suite 400 in Kankakee. I serve as chairman and co-founded the company. Also here this evening with our development team is Ed Patton with Horvey Construction, a longtime partner and co-owner with us. And we also have Joe Hammer with the local civil engineer firm. As I said, we're an Illinois-based company, headquartered in Bourbonnais or Kankakee since our inception. We created the company to increase accessibility and affordability in the assisted living sector. And we started in '99 with 2 licenses approved by the state. And we've grown to where we currently manage 70 properties in Illinois and about 15 in Indiana and 5 in Ohio, a couple on the East Coast. So we've grown to be about the 7th largest operator of assisted living with about 8,500 licensed apartments across 5 states. Locally, in this region, we've had good success in developing and managing properties in the surrounding markets. We developed and opened Heritage Woods of Bolingbrook in 2009 at 105 apartments. We opened Heritage Woods of Plainfield in 2011 with 108 apartments and 102 units in Manuka in 2017. Those properties have been very successful in serving the local markets, running somewhere between 94-98% occupancy consistently. We're also in Yorkville, Downers Grove, South Elgin, Batavia. Again, we're in rural, suburban, and urban properties across the state. As was mentioned in the staff report, all of our residents must be at least 65 or older, but our average age on move-in is 84. Let's face it, we all want to stay at home as long as we can, but when you or a loved one needs that assistance, we want to do the best we can, and we want to be able to offer to all income levels. So 90% of our properties engage and are engaged with the Medicaid program and are certified. We find it that in pretty much all markets, 2 out of 3 seniors by the time you're 84 cannot afford that $6,000 a month of private fees, or if you can, you can't do it very long, or without family help, or without selling the house and so forth. So across our portfolio, about 2/3 of our residents are subsidized by Medicaid, 1/3 are private pay. Upon move-in, we see that do assistance with the activities of daily living. The most common ones are assistance with bathing, assistance with dressing, and medication assistance. But we do all other individualized package of services for our residents. This is the last license that our company has control on. The state of Illinois limits the number of licenses for Medicaid participation. There's about 156 currently in the state. We manage 56 of those. And we found about a 10 to 12 mile pocket in this area of Will County where there is no Medicaid certified assisted living. So we think this property getting developed will enable local seniors to stay locally when they need this type of care. We had a third-party professional market study company, Cooper Valuation, out of Chicago, that's very well known in our industry. They earmarked the unmet need for additional units in this area at 192 units, well above the 120 that we have proposed, and they projected about a 9-month to 12-month fill-up. We'll have somewhere around, when we're fully stabilized occupancy, somewhere around 55 to 60 full-time equivalent jobs with an annual payroll of about $2.9 million annually, including benefits. Again, we appreciate the opportunity to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Rod. Commissioners, do you have questions?
I would assume with the employee count, that is, I'm guessing 24 hours a day? Is it like CNAs, RNs, that type of thing?
Yes, we do have 24-hour staff. All hands-on caregivers must be at least CNAs. So we do have LPNs and RNs, but CNAs on the day shift would probably have 6, 5 on second shift, and 3 in the evenings when we're fully stabilized. A complement of executive director, department heads. We have a commercial kitchen, activities director, maintenance director, and so forth.
Yeah, and I know it's sorely needed in this area. That location's interesting to me, but, I mean, I get it. I mean, everybody likes living in the country, so a good spot for everybody.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Garland.
Yeah, I guess my question is probably more for Lance. So with the northern part of the project where it's not being built, that'll be R2 or R4 going forward?
It would be the entire parcel because it's not going to be subdivided at this time.
Okay.
They do not have any plans of doing the memory care facility that was in the original plans back when they were looking at both properties.
Sure.
So as it stands right now, it would just be the facility as you see now. That doesn't mean that they couldn't sell the northern part of the property, but it would have to be combined with some other piece of property to get the access.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is given that this would be fronting 163rd Street and the access does not appear to be conducive to across that easement, if they were to build on the northern part, they would have to acquire property north of here to connect to 159th Street if there were to ever be any future development,
Right.
correct?
Yeah, I mean, this is all part of that same conversation that we had when Silo Bend West was approved.
Yep.
The connection up to 159th Street is still something that staff and the council and really everybody, I think, unanimously believes is important. And so regardless of what would ever come in the future, it would still come with that condition to connect up to 159th Street and create a new signalized intersection at 159th Street. This property in particular, kind of to the staffing and the age that you heard the applicant present, really doesn't generate enough traffic to require anything remotely close to that. So that's why that requirement has not come with this particular concept plan.
Yeah, no, that's great. And it seems that the only connection would be, if there were to be developed, would be for emergency vehicle type use only, because you wouldn't want people driving through here, so.
Right.
Yeah, okay, perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Peters. Any other questions? Yes, Commissioner Giorgetti.
Thank you. You know, when I first lived, and based on their experience, I got a lot of experience in this area. When I saw, you know, the parking spaces, 68 spaces and 28 of them being used by staff, and maybe, you know, only 57, which is less than one for every 2 units. Based on what you said earlier, the average age of movement in 1884, I don't anticipate a lot of the residents having cars themselves there. So you anticipate most of it being used for visitors?
Yes. I would say, based on our 26 years of experience in this, you might have 5% of the residents that still like to drive or can drive, or their family lets them keep the car on the lot to look out the window, but kind of keep the car keys from them. But, you know, there's plenty of that 5% that are, you know, good drivers. But we have our own wide-body van that's 10 to 12 passenger for going to doctor appointments, going to Walmart, going to ball games, outings. So the van gets a lot of use. But, yeah, I would say in any one building, we probably only have a handful that regularly drive.
Just to follow up on Commissioner Giorgetti's question on the number of parking spaces, Kimberly, we had, in the report, it said 68 spaces, and Rod, your peak shift, day shift, 24 FTEs that may be driving there, and I was just 68 minus 24, I was getting 44, not 57 other available spaces. What am I missing there?
Sounds like it needs to be amended in the, at the committee of the whole report. I'm not sure how many are used for guests, that would be.
44 would be left for guests, not 57, I think, if my math was right.
And assuming that the number of employees, is that correct, the 24?
Yes, for day shift, that would be it.
Okay.
And there's definitely smaller numbers on second and third shift.
I mean, your peak parking is going to be during Christmas and Easter and when
Mother's
you've
Day.
got Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, Mother's Day. So that's what you've got to worry about.
Yes.
Okay. And Or do you have any issues with the fire district's comments relative to accommodating what they've mentioned here in the report? Okay. You're comfortable with all their comments?
We did a fair amount of reworking with the plans to accommodate that. So on the plan that you see on the right, that's one of the reasons why you see that hammerhead to the north. That is in essence on the off chance, and hopefully never, that a fire truck would need to access that northeast corner. That would be where they would do that.
Okay.
And with the,
Makes sense.
with the
Teacher.
last set of comments, we did provide a hose distance as well as the truck radius and identified most of the, well, I think we responded to all the comments that we received from the fire department, so.
Very good. Thank you. Lance, quick question, Kimberly. The properties to the west, the R2 and the R4, are they served by a different sanitary sewer connection?
They are unserved at this point.
Unserved at this point?
There is a connection over by where the UPS building is at John Lane Crossing. One of the issues that we have with these two parcels in particular, the two long parcels that you see here, is the cost to go one way or the other is fairly expensive. And so we spent a fair amount of time with the applicant studying Silo Bend's sanitary line that runs through the towns of Silo Bend to make sure that it has the capacity for this type of facility on it. Through their studies and our reviews of them, it does have enough capacity for it. Alternatively, the other option was someone would need to build a sanitary line that came from John Lane Crossing to access these properties, which if Silo Bend West was going to be under construction, that might be a possibility, but as it is not. And so that was an option that wasn't possible. And so that's what caused the recalibration to go to just the single lot and shrink the plan as it had been presented.
Very good. Thank you, Lance. Commissioners, any other questions for the applicant? This is not a public hearing, but I would ask if there are any members of the general public that would like to speak. You're welcome to come up.
You could just ask me if you can.
Mr. Frayne, state your name and address.
Edward Frayne, 15501 West 159th Street, home of Glen/Lockport.
I'm sorry, could you repeat your name again? That was quick.
Edward Frayne, I'm sorry.
Edward Frayne?
Yes.
Okay,
Frayne.
thank you.
My question is, for this development here, which I'm pretty much okay with because it's senior living, when they're building back here, there is quite a hill that is right there on the property right now, and I can't see the distance from here anywhere. As far as digging into that hill, because right now, the way it is when they've been farming it, myself on my east side of my property and my neighbors next to me created a nice big drainage ditch going down the property. So I'd be worried about that drainage becoming even more on there, and that would be one of my concerns there. My question that I have too is that you guys were talking about the other two pieces of parcel to the north, and it's not really developable, but if somebody bought that parcel piece to the west, they could actually connect those two together, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be just my two questions there. And that's it. Oh, and obviously with this senior living, we don't really have an issue with traffic, but 159th is like the Autobahn. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, my wife's out there, I'm out there with the school bus. She's been in touch with the state rep, state police, everybody. Nobody wants to own 159th right there in our little parcel area. So it's been a real headache, but I don't think we'll have that issue as of right now, so thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
I guess I would just offer to Mr. Frain's first question related to the drainage or the topography. If you look on the plan that's on your screen, you can see where Wheatstone Drive is on the right. That's the existing street that goes into the adjoining subdivision. The actual structure is that they are proposing is roughly where those two vertical brown spots are that are in the farm field, basically. So if you extend Wheatstone to the middle of that red box and you go south, you'll see those two kind of brown, what look like water spots in there. That's roughly where the building will be. So as it relates to the far north end of the property, it will remain untouched and be farmed just like it is today.
Thank you, Lance. Any other citizens? Okay.
Just one more comment for Mr. Frain. As we move through this and we get into the engineering, the way the water will be sheeting will be more than handled as far as compensatory storage, or depending on which direction they're going to have it sheet off. So that's one of the paramount things we have as we're looking on the development side of things.
Thank you, Commissioner Garland. Okay. I would ask if there is a motion to approve the concept plan for a supportive living senior development subject to the 5 conditions as listed in staff's report.
I'll make the motion to approve the concept plan for a supportive living senior development, subject to the following conditions, 1 through 5, in staff's report.
There's a motion by Garland.
I'll second.
Second by Calderon. Any other discussion on this motion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the question. Kathy, roll call vote, please.
You got it. Okay, sorry. Quinn.
Aye.
Calderon.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Likens.
Yes.
Mycheck.
Yes.
Garland.
Yes.
Giorgetti.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Kathy. We will move to the next item on the agenda, case number 2025-007. The concept plan for an auto-body repair shop with outdoor storage of vehicles in Lockport Crossings Lot 6, otherwise known as Crash Champions Collision Repair.
Thank you, Chairman.
Kimberly,
Case
all yours.
before you is case number 2025-007. Crash Champions has submitted a concept plan for an auto body repair shop with outdoor storage of vehicles for Lot 6 of Lockport Crossings. There's an aerial map displayed. Lockport Crossings is highlighted. Oh no, the orange isn't shown. Sorry about that. The Lockport Crossings is the development that includes Dooley, Christian Brothers, O'Reilly. The line is supposed to be there. I apologize. The yellow highlight is the subject property. The subject property consists of lots 5 and 6, where Thornton Avenue terminates at 9th Street. The site's approximately 4.5 acres and currently zoned C3 highway commercial with a special use for a mixed-use plan development. Originally in 2005, the plan development called for residential condos on the north portion of the 12-acre site and 2 retail centers which did not get developed. Later, the plan development was amended to allow office space on lots 4 and 5, and the 4-story medical building, previously known as the Advocate Medical Building, now the Dooley Medical Building, was constructed. In 2017, O'Reilly Retail Store was approved for Lot 2, and in 2018, Christian Brothers Auto Repair Shop was approved for Lot 3, which is a niche auto repair shop that offers warranty repair work. It's important to note that auto repair differs from auto body, as auto repair is a permitted use within the C3 district, and auto body is a special use. The Christian Brothers development was designed to have their bay doors face the access drive and not 9th Street. Crash Champions is currently located on Archer Avenue, and they have outgrown their current location. They've selected the subject property for a new collision repair facility. Upon approval of the concept plan for an auto body repair shop and outdoor storage, the annexation agreement would need to be amended by the city council. Auto body repair, outdoor storage, and towing companies are expressly prohibited per the Lockport Crossings annexation agreement. Should the city council allow the annexation agreement to be amended, the special use permit would need to be amended to allow auto body repair and outdoor storage. There's the zoning for you. The concept site plan was submitted and is displayed on your monitor. The plan illustrates a 20,000 square foot proposed building for an auto body repair facility. The building is surrounded by customer and employee parking on 2 sides and outdoor storage on the north and west sides. The lot lines for Lot 6 will be moved east to increase the lot size. The building has frontage on Thornton Avenue, 9th Street, and some frontage to Highland Avenue to the north. Ingress and egress is provided to Thornton Avenue, where it terminates at 9th Street, and a new road connecting to the existing right-in, right-out entry drive-by Dooley Clinic will be built. An existing detention outlet is located north along Highland Avenue. Cross-access is provided to the adjoining Lot 5 and Lockport crossings. Outdoor storage requires a special use within C3. Outdoor storage is shown in the rear and is subject to certain conditions of use. According to the applicant, inoperable vehicles would be stored on premise for up to 30 days. Screening would be required. Details were not part of this submittal. However, a 6-foot opaque vinyl fence is shown on the site plan. Storage will need to be screened 100% from the public view to the height of the tallest vehicle or equipment that is stored. The property has double frontage and is visible from Highland Avenue, where appropriate screening would be required at the time of development plan review. Per the city's design standards, a continuous visual screen shall be constructed of the same materials as the wall of the building, of a size sufficient to screen views from adjacent properties of the largest vehicles anticipated to be stored or make a delivery on site. Loading areas. There are 2 loading areas that are shown on the north and east sides of the building. Loading areas shall be minimally visible as possible. Screening is required in all loading areas. A concept landscape plan was provided. Foundation landscaping is not shown on this concept landscape plan. However, it will be required at the time of development plan. The commission has the ability to request additional screening adjacent to the fence if necessary. A rendering is displayed. Overhead doors will be located on secondary facades. Class 1 and 2 materials will need to be met on all 4 elevations at the time of development plan review. Engineering comments have been addressed. The concept plan was submitted to the Lockport Township Fire Protection District. The district has no comments or concerns at this time. And the suggested motion, should the commission find the concept plan for the proposed auto body repair development acceptable, the following motion is suggested. A motion to approve the concept plan for Crash Champions Collision Repair Facility, subject to the following 4 conditions as provided in the staff report. The applicant has a PowerPoint presentation that will begin after this staff report. And the applicant is here this evening for the presentation.
Thank you, Kimberly. Would the applicant like to come forward, present the PowerPoint? If you could state your name and address for Kathy.
Andrew Hansen, Construction Project Manager for Crash Champions.
So
So this is just a brief overview of what Crash Champions is and where we started. I also have Mark Kohosky as representing for Crash Champions. He's been here a lot longer than me, but he started with Crash Champions back when we had 8 locations. We have now since grown to, which one? Up, down. Over 650 locations in 37 states. This is the 3rd largest auto body MSO in the nation. This is our typical prototype. Not all of them. This will be the typical front elevations. Some of them have a different side entrance, so on, depending on how the layout is. This is, as you shown on the other slides, this is the proposed location. We are moving from our current location. It is 4,200 square feet off of Archer. We took that over and rebranded it in 2022, 23. We do have a large presence in Illinois and in the area. A number of these are our new prototypes and our new builds. We're slowly going through each of the acquisitions and changing them into a Crash standard. This is another Mokina. This is the Mokina location, another typical Crash location. These are the elevations. You guys all have a copy of each one of these elevations from our architect tesserae. This is just showing storefront HCM panels and then two glass doors for our estimating lanes and our detail bays. This is looking from, if you're heading back towards downtown from 9th Street towards Thornton, and a close-up of that same southeast corner. That is our current location. It was built in 1965. We've used it. It was way back when I lived here. It was car care collision centers. So, and then he became Service King, and now is Crash Champions. You guys have any questions with what Crash Champions is?
Commissioners, any questions for the applicant? I hope that wasn't my car sitting out in front of the old building.
As far as operations go, are they primarily maintained within the building? Will there be any vehicle work taking place on the outside of the building, like in the storage areas?
No. Okay. Outside is just for storage. On a floor diagram, I don't think we didn't have that. We'll have, each tech has 2 bays, right? They'll have 2 cars. There are times that they'll have to pull cars in and out so that they're waiting for parts, what have you. Those are all still screened. Everything else, all work is inside.
Perfect. Thank you.
I mean, overall, it's a very nice concept. My only, I guess, concerns are obviously what everybody else is going to say, screening. And I saw there was a 6-foot, roughly like a 6-foot wall around the outdoor storage portion with kind of tree line on the outside. I would imagine that is sufficient. I don't know, the only other thing I could think of is maybe berming up a little bit on the outside and then throwing the trees up just to give it a little bit more clear height for, because I mean the hospital, what's the hospital right there, the immediate care?
Dooley.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, that's, you're going to be looking down into it, but that, you can't really help anything from, 3rd story or such. But yeah, I think, generally relatively attractive. When I first initially saw it on like kind of one of the main drags running into town. It was más o menos, but very well designed, and I don't know, once again, I think as long as the screening's taken care of to, a sufficient or sufficient plus scenario, I think should run well.
Thank you, Commissioner Garland.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a weird intersection, right? And my background is in retail and convenience, and the access to this is a little off. And so I think a destination use such as this that won't be driving significant daily traffic is a very good use of this property. And then leaving that future development, 92,000 square feet, that's about 2.1 plus or minus acres. Maybe, once this is here, it kind of gives a new life to that parcel too, since you're going to have cross easements there, you're going to have cross easements with the Dooley building. I think this is going to be an attractive looking structure, that sort of thing. So I think it does fit. I know that it's a special use, but given the auto that's on the hard corner existing, I think it's a fair use of this space and worthy of a special use.
Thank you, Commissioner Peters. Other commissioner comments? Could you speak just very briefly to jobs that you will be providing with this expanded facility, based on what you have now and the number of additional jobs you may have?
Sure.
With a
I'm not in
larger
operations, but yes, the current location has roughly 6 employees, 7 with a detailer or a porter. This location will provide between 20 to 25 technicians, front office, and detailers. Some of those technicians are a higher paying skilled job. They're upwards of $125,000 to $175,000 a year. The it will consist of some service writers, parts manager, general manager, customer service representative, which is reception, and then technicians, painters, detailers, and then maybe a porter, depending on how much traffic they have.
Okay. I was just curious how many more jobs an expanded facility would bring. Unfortunately, I've been to your Crash Champions a few times, and I will just say that, what is a very frustrating experience getting in a wreck or whatever it is, I was very surprised how helpful and nice the people were that I dealt with there. So kudos to Crash Champions in Lockport. So. Okay. Are there any citizens from the public that would like to speak? Please come on up and state your name. That's fine. Just state your name and your address. And again, this is not a public hearing. We're just accommodating any comments from the public. Thank you.
My name is Yavor Kirillov. Yavor Kirilov, 1104 Highland Avenue. So basically this is gonna be my living room view. And as you understand, we're highly concerned about that. We're concerned about the view, the noise, the constant traffic that's gonna be on that parking lot. There's gonna be delivery trucks, delivery drivers, employees currently going in and out, customers going in and out, cars that are gonna be pulled in, pulled out. Of course, some of those cars are gonna be damaged with missing exhaust pipes, so there's gonna be noise. And right now, it's kind of quiet living area where our kids can play outside in our front yard. And with that, I really don't see how our kids will grow there. Right now we can see eagles at that empty spot, empty field, a lot of birds, a lot of wildlife, which are gonna be gone. I understand the city is having is seeing a good opportunity for income, for revenue, but for us, the citizens, that's gonna take the bite and by the dust, it's really not great. It was some kind of small, like a retail area or something small, okay, but that's a collision center. Everyone knows that that's noisy. And one couple of trees that's gonna be put, or that's not gonna help. You understand? We're a couple of houses that gonna be 100% affected. Unfortunately, our neighbors from 1104, they went on vacation today, so they couldn't make it today to come and express their concerns too, but they do have a couple of small kids, and we're really affected about that. Obviously, the other thing is our property values will go down a lot. If the city approves that, we will have to think to move that of the city. I mean, I understand, yeah, it's unincorporated, it's a special zoning, but collision center, and their repair shop here, their repair shop here on both. I think this one is something like collision too. I don't know the number. It's right here.
That one is unincorporated, it's not in the city. I don't really know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elita Daneva, Elitsa. The last name Daneva. I think that this concept is a great one on the wrong place. Because how my husband says, it's like a quiet place. If you approve to build this building and this project to go through, it will be a lot of noise, dust, and I think that it's not safety for the Lockport community in this part, because some of the bad guys will come fix their cars, and instead of the nice green view that we have right now, we have something like junkyard. There was one picture that's showing it's not even a parking lot with if it's a store, okay, I prefer to switch with the guys with 120 units living, assistant living than this one in the middle of the normal town, just put the junkyard over there and everybody passing through there, because most of the, let's say the average income persons are buying new car exactly because of the warranty they have, and they are using it, going to the dealerships that's fixing it free for, it depends how much years. And here I think that will be suspicious guys coming in with trying to find the low income, and finally it will pay more, but it's other story. And actually also the value of the property, because we bought this house 2 years ago, and I think that this will affect the value of the property. Also, the properties are raising, no lowering, and building more houses. It's overcrowded, and at the same time, the property taxes are raising up with the more traffic, And I want to be honest, if I want a junkyard just somewhere across, I'll go to live in Chicago. And here I thought that it's a nice place, not like Naperville right now, not 10 years ago. Right now is the traffic there on 59 and Ogden, it's terrible. If here is a playground on some other kind of stores that are bringing more money, attracting the people somehow, and bringing more money for the community and something helpful for the community, something healthy, some kind of entertainment, something, this would be a great one. But the whole huge lots with the building and car spaces, how I say, a great project, but on the wrong place. I like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you could speak to, the noise, dust, and, when you are what your hours of work are, and, are the doors closed when you're working? Are they wide open?
So noise and dust during construction, right, there is going to be that. In operations, I know the old school persona of having a body shop as a junkyard and it's a chop shop and there's dust everywhere. We have filtration that captures everything. Those filters are changed out literally depending on what they're spraying, 1 month, maybe 6 weeks. Some of the other filters are changed out weekly and they're cleaned weekly. We don't spray like your olden days. We don't spray lacquer and enamel. It's all water-based. It's all captured through our filtration systems. The noise, you can go into a shop and have a regular conversation talking to right next to them because the compressors run at 89 to 92 and your vacuum at home runs at 96 decibels. So they're very quiet screw drive compressors. Most of your technicians now don't even use the compressors. The compressors are used to run the lift or to spray in the booth. Most all the new technicians use battery operated tools. Yes, the doors are closed. We want them closed because the space is air conditioned for our technicians. So the noise is limited. We don't want to have a junkyard, right? Because we make our money getting the cars in and out. To the comment of, you take it to the dealership, we have a lot of agreements with dealerships, including all of our techs being certified from different dealerships and different manufacturers, such as we work on Teslas, we work on Mercedes. We have to hold certifications for every one of those manufacturers. Honda's one of the more stringent ones, so we have to, every one of our shops have a minimum Honda lighting requirement in the shop. Overall, it's a $7 million project, and we look to do probably $8 to $14 million in revenue. So it's revenue based because of most of our business is through insurance companies, right? It's not, we don't work on cars and redo the cars that are rusting, right? It is based off of insurance, and we have a lot of insurance carriers that are partners with us.
Thank you. Okay.
I was just going to ask, delivery of wrecked vehicles, I'd assume that's 24/7?
No.
No?
No, we're open, our hours of operation are 7 in the morning till 5 at night. One shift. Saturday, we're open 9 to noon. Usually not a lot of work on Saturday. It's usually a delivery or people dropping off because of work schedules, right? They can only pick them up on Saturday morning, right? They're off. So most of the time, it's very limited on Saturday. There might be a detailer, a manager, and a service writer that are just delivering cars, especially the end of the month. So no, it is.
It wouldn't be like a typical tow yard where, you know, you break down in the middle of the night or you get in a wreck in the middle of the night, it's
So-
getting dropped off.
There is a possibility, right, depending on the agreements, right? Some locations have agreements with the city that if there's a wreck, they bring, you know, the tow truck company that they have an agreement with brings it to the yard. They have access into the gates, they'll secure them. Insurance companies, depending on who the agreement is with, also have that same thing. So there isn't 24-hour work. There is a possibility of somebody having to drop a car off. That happens, some of these locations, it happens once a week maybe, depending on if they have an agreement with that city. So some cities, some of the, like Countryside, they have an agreement with one of the local tow companies. The tow company brings it to their yard, and then the insurance company will bring it to us.
Just within those operating hours?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think those are things that that can be suggested at the city council meeting. You know, for our purposes here, it's mostly on, should we allow this zoning and that sort of thing? If those are, right, Lance, that would be the type of thing, like if we wanted to limit hours of operation and things like that, that's not of our purview here, correct?
Yeah, I would say that hours of operation or things like that would be captured in the development agreement or the amendment to the annexation agreement that was originally done that would need to be amended to allow for this use. We can certainly capture some of those things in that document as it pertains to this specific lot. I also want to clarify that there is no access on Highland Avenue. There won't be a drive. All traffic has to come in off of Thornton.
Okay.
Or the right in, right out that's directly east over by Dooley.
It's shared right away from Dooley, right?
Right.
Very good. Thank you, Lance. Commissioner Garland, you good? Commissioner Peters? Any other commissioners? I don't see any other members of the public, but I'll open it up one more time. And hearing none, I will ask if there is a motion to approve the concept plan for a Crash Champions collision repair facility subject to the 4 conditions as listed in staff's report.
I'll make a motion to approve the concept plan for a Crash Champions collision repair facility, subject to the 4 conditions in staff's report.
There's a motion by Peters.
Second.
Sorry.
Second by Quinn. Any other concerns? Discussion? Hearing none, I will call the question and ask for a roll call vote. Kathy?
Yes.
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 Thank you, Kathy. Seeing no other items under new business, we'll move to old business. I see no
Real
item.
quick,
Lance.
this will also go to the August
6th?
6th.
August 6th.
Committee of the whole meeting.
Committee of the whole meeting. Thank you, Lance. I see no old business. I will ask one more time if there are any citizens to be heard. Seeing and hearing none, we'll move to Chairman's report. Just like to thank all the members of the public who came to speak this evening. And that's all I have. Commissioners, anything to report? No, sir. Very good. Staff? Okay, nice job this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Garland.
Oh, second.
Second by Calderon. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.